She was born with a womb like the sun, powerful, eternal, and cursed. She gave birth to 44 children and sold them. But when the land turned against her, it was already too late. In the lush, rolling hills of Lukoba, a village surrounded by the ancient Bogoma forest, the villagers lived by the rhythm of the earth. The river Nalwoga whispered secrets as it carved through the land, and the people listened to the wind, the trees, and the spirits. Long before time was measured by calendars, the village elders spoke of a prophecy. One day, a woman shall be born with a womb like the sun, abundant, powerful, and eternal. If she uses it with wisdom, she shall bring peace to the land. But should greed taint her spirit, her legacy shall rot, and the land shall bleed. Few paid attention to the prophecy. Time, after all, had a way of dulling warnings. That was until a child named Kasira Nabwami was born. Kasira was born on the night of a blood moon, when the sky was a fiery red and the hyenas refused to howl. Her mother, Nabwami, was a humble woman known for tending to the village garden. Her father, Matovu, was a skilled drum maker whose rhythms could summon birds from the sky. From the moment Kasira cried her first cry, the midwives knew something was different. She was strong, too strong for a newborn. Her grip on her mother's finger left tiny bruises. By the age of 3, she spoke in full sentences, her eyes dark as obsidian, absorbing everything around her. As she grew, so did her reputation. By 16, Kasira had already given birth to her first set of twins. The villagers whispered, but in a way that carried reverence, not shame. Every child she birthed was healthy, radiant, and wise beyond their years. At 18, she married Tendo Mugisha, a quiet, hard-working man who loved her deeply. They lived modestly in a 2-room hut surrounded by banana trees and sugarcane. But the blessings kept multiplying: twins, triplets, quadruplets. By the age of 30, Kasira had given birth to 38 children, and the whispers began to shift. Though her womb was a gift, life in Lukoba was not easy. The land was generous, but mouths were many. Tendo did his best. He worked in the fields from dawn until the stars blinked awake, but the children's laughter often echoed over empty pots. Kasira tried to remain strong. She fed them with wild yam, mangoes from the forest, and whatever her neighbors could spare. But she could feel herself withering, not just in body, but in spirit. One day, a traveler from the city passed through Lukoba. He carried shiny gadgets, smooth speech, and eyes that didn't flinch at poverty. He looked upon Kasira's family with interest, and after some time he returned, with others. Women who could not have children, men who wanted heirs, couples from places Kasira had never heard of, and they came with money. At first, she refused. Kasira clutched her babies and stared at the villagers who watched with wide eyes. But the money could buy rice, school uniforms, even medicine. Tendo begged her to reconsider. "Just one," he whispered, guilt thick in his voice. "Just one child." Kasira cried for 3 days, and on the 4th, she gave away her son to a woman who wept joyfully and pressed a heavy pouch of gold into Kasira's hand. The pouch felt warm, and so began the unraveling. The first child vanished into the city, and Kasira never saw him again. The woman who took him never wrote, never returned. But the gold solved many problems. They bought food, paid school fees, fixed the roof. Soon, another family came, then another. Kasira convinced herself she was saving the children, sending them to better lives. She told herself this every time she handed one over. But each time, her hut grew colder, her dreams darker. She began seeing shadows in the trees, hearing crying at night, though all her children slept. People began to call her the womb of gold. She wore silk from Zanzibar, adorned her neck with beads from the north, and sat on chairs carved from red mahogany. But in her heart, the echo of the seer's prophecy began to stir. One evening, as she stood by the river washing clothes, a little girl approached her. "Are you the mother of the sky?" the child asked. Kasira chuckled. "What do you mean?" "My mother said you gave her a brother once, but he cries in his sleep. She says you must have cried too." The girl walked away, leaving Kasira stunned. That night, Kasira dreamed of her firstborn son. He stood beneath a tree with golden leaves and asked, "Why did you trade me?" She could no longer remember all their names. She started writing them on the walls of her home. But names faded, and the children who remained began to resent her. "Am I next?" they would ask. Some ran away. Others refused to eat. Tendo could no longer bear the silence between them. One day, he packed a bag and left without a word. His footprints were swallowed by the red dust road. Kasira was alone. A terrible drought came. The river Nalwoga, once a lifeline, dried into cracked clay. The animals fled. Crops withered. Villagers went hungry. They came to Kasira for help. "You have gold," they said. "Help us." But her house, though grand, had grown empty. The gold was gone, spent on luxury, lost to false traders. She had nothing left but silence and ghosts. That night, as the moon rose, the river whispered again, and out of the mist came Nyakalinda, the ancient seer, her eyes glowing like dying embers. "The forest remembers, Kasira. The sky has turned its back. You traded life for comfort. Now the land will take back what is owed." Kasira fell to her knees. "Forgive me. I only wanted to save them. Redemption is not given. It is earned." The next morning, Kasira woke to find her house in ruins. The walls with names had crumbled. Her children were gone, not dead, just gone, as if they had never existed. The villagers claimed they never knew a woman named Kasira. The shrine where she once lived was now a grove of wildflowers. Nyakalinda appeared one last time, placing a carved stone in Kasira's hand. "Plant this where the river once flowed. Speak every name you remember." Kasira walked into the dry bed of the river. She planted the stone and knelt. For hours she whispered names, some correct, some guessed. With each name, the sky darkened, the wind stirred, and then it rained. A downpour that lasted 3 days. The river returned, overflowing its banks, but it did not flood. It healed. Kasira collapsed beside the flowing water, her voice hoarse, her heart hollow. The village began to thrive again, but Kasira did not rejoin them. She built a small hut by the river and lived alone. Children would come, bringing food and flowers. They didn't know who she was, but they called her Muka Nalwoga, the mother of the river. She never bore another child, but she never stopped mourning the ones she lost. One morning, she found a baby at her door, wrapped in banana leaves, with a note, "My child deserves more, like yours did." Kasira took the child in, raised her with love, and taught her that no life, no matter how difficult, should ever be measured in gold. On the night of her passing, the sky lit up with stars, brighter than the village had ever seen. The river hummed a lullaby, and in the forest, the birds sang long after midnight. They buried her beneath the tree of golden leaves, the one from her dream. On the bark, someone carved, "Here lies Kasira Nabwami, the womb of gold, the mother of regret, the guardian of redemption." To this day, villagers speak of Kasira with reverence. Her story is told to every young mother, every girl who dreams of children, every man who forgets the cost of abundance. By the river Nalwoga, her shrine stands tall, and on quiet nights, they say you can still hear her whispering names, ensuring they are never forgotten. Was Kasira a victim of desperation, or the author of her own sorrow? If you had 44 children and nothing to feed them, what would you do? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This is more than a story. It's a reflection of life, love, and loss. Subscribe for more African tales that echo through time. Like, share, and help keep these stories alive.